Hello guys, this is Paul McWhorter with TopTechBoy.com, and we're here today with episode number 21 in our incredible new tutorial series where you are going to learn artificial intelligence or you're going to die trying. What I'm going to need you to do is pour yourself a nice glass of ice cold coffee. That would be straight up black coffee poured over ice, no sugar, no sweeteners, none needed. And as you're pouring your coffee, as always, I want to give a shout out to you guys who are helping me out over at Patreon. It is your support and your encouragement that keeps this great content coming. You guys that are not helping out yet, take a look down in the description. There is a link over to my Patreon account. Think about hopping on over there and hooking a brother up. But enough of this shameless self-promotion. Let's talk about what I am going to teach you today. And what I'm going to teach you today is I'm going to teach you how to do pose estimation using Mediapipe. Now, this is actually going to be a fun lesson, I think, because we've already sort of done finding landmarks on the hands, and we've done that in the last 3 or 4 lessons. But our landmark finding skill set was limited to from the wrist out, and that was all that we could recognize. And we could recognize multiple hands, and we could find all the landmarks on multiple hands. Well, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be finding the landmarks on your entire body. And so it's actually kind of a fun little lesson, and I think it'll be a lot easier since the methodology is very similar to what we did on the hands. And so let's go ahead and let's come over here, and what I will need to do is I will need to get out of your way, and then I need you to fire up your most excellent Visual Studio Code. We are going to come over here, and we are working in our main Python folder, and I am going to create a new lesson, and that new lesson is going to be OpenCV-35.py, and let's see if it likes that. Boom! Fresh new Python program, just waiting to be written. Now, we don't want to just start completely from scratch because we know how to launch our webcam, but let's go ahead and grab that code. I need you to come over to the most excellent www.toptechboy.com. I need you to use this happy little search bar, and I need you to search on faster launch of webcam, and then you should come to this most excellent lesson. What we can do is we can click on the 2 little page icons. It will highlight the code. We will right mouse click. We will copy. We will come back to we will come back to our Visual Studio Code. We will paste that. I've got to do a little tweaking here that you're probably on camera 0 or camera 1. I'm in fact on camera 4, so I need to make that 4. And also you set the width and height of your frame using this cam set command. For my new camera, it does not take that cam set command, so I just need to take a second here and resize frame by saying frame is equal to cv2.resize. You don't need to do this probably. cv2.resize. What do I want to resize? I want to resize frame, and then what size do I want to make it? I want to make it the tuple width, comma, height, like that. And that should make it the 1280 by 720. And then everything should be good to go. Let's come here and run this thing and see if it runs. Okay, boom. Just making sure that the universe is in proper order and we can copy and paste without making a mistake. Okay, so that's good. Now we're going to come in and we're going to start really writing our program. So if we are going to be using Mediapipe, what do we better do up here? We better import Mediapipe, and we're going to import Mediapipe as what? MP, not big MP, MP. And so anytime I want to use Mediapipe, I just use MP now. So that makes it a little bit easier. Then we're going to come down here and we're going to set up our pose detection object, and I am just going to call mine pose. You can call yours whatever you would like to call it, but I am going to call mine pose, and then that is going to be equal to MP for Mediapipe.solutions, kind of like when we were doing the hand stuff, only this time it's going to be .pose with the little p, and then wait for it, pose with an uppercase P. So little pose dot big pose. I don't think they could have made it more confusing if they had tried, but now we got to pass it some parameters. The first parameter is, are we working with a still image? No, we're working live with live video, so it's false on the old still image. And then the next thing it wants us to do is it wants to know, do you want to look at only the upper body? No, I want to look at the full body, so I'll say false to upper body only. And then it wants to know, do you want to smooth the data? Well, yes, I want to do that because it's going to find the various landmarks of my body, and they're going to be kind of a little bit staticky. And if I say true, it will smooth that out and make those points a lot more stable. So I'll say true. And now, just like on the hand landmarks, it wants sort of a tracking and a detection threshold, and we just found 0.5 and 0.5 worked well. And you can play around with those if you want, but I don't want to slow this video down by tweaking those parameters. So now we have an object pose, which should allow us to go in and analyze a body to find those landmarks. Okay, let's have a little more iced coffee here. A little bit of a warm day out there today, probably 75, maybe 77. Okay, actually not that warm, but I do enjoy my iced coffee. Okay, so we've got that. Now we come down here and we've grabbed our frame at this point, right? We've grabbed our frame, but now what is it OpenCV operates in? The old blue, green, red color space. The rest of the known universe operates in what? The old red, green, blue color space. So we better do what? We better create a frame RGB, which is equal to a CV2.CVT color. So I'm going to convert the color of what? I'm going to convert the color of frame, and then I am going to do it how CV2.color underscore, and I want to go from where? BGR to RGB, like that. And so now when I do that, what I should have is I should have an RGB version of my frame, which then can be used in Mediapipe and specifically can be used in my pose object. So now let's analyze the frame. So I'm going to call the analysis results, and this is going to be the data structure that the data comes back in. I could call this anything I want. I'm going to call it results because that's what I'm going to get is results. And what is that equal to? That is going to be equal to pose, our object dot, what do I want to do? I want to dot process, and then what do I want to process? Frame RGB, like that. And so that should go out and that should process the frame. It doesn't like, what's wrong with that? Frame RGB. Frame. How am I going crazy here? I swear that is the same and it doesn't like it. Frame R, oh, dyslexia kicked in there. RGB. I swear I look at that and it looks right. I swear it looks right. I am in fact very, very dyslexic. But I have survived it. All right, so now I have results. And now let's just see if this will run. I'm just going to print results just to see if I get anything, because again, we're going to have to, at some point, bust this data down and do something with it. So let's just start here and see if anything happens. Okay, it's running so far. Okay, fires off my webcam. That's great. And then it is returning kind of like this whole big class, this whole big object here, but we're not really seeing any data, but it is running and it is returning a result. Okay, so that's good. So it's running and it is returning a result and it is not crashing. So what would we like to do? Well, let's just say that the first thing we're going to do is we are just going to just draw those results, okay? So what I would want to do is I'm just going to create a draw object up here, and I am going to call it MP draw, and that is going to be equal to mp.solutions.drawing utils, all right, like that. Now I have myself a drawing object, and I can come down here and I can use it. All right. Now what I do want to do though is before I use it, I just want to say if results dot pose landmarks, okay, is not, the exclamation is not, if that's not equal to none, then I want to do something. So if it is equal to none, that means there's no result. So if there's no result, don't go in the if statement. If there is a result, then results.pose landmark is not equal to none. It's not empty. There's something there. Then go in and do something with it. But you got to do this to kind of keep your program from crashing. Like if there's no person in the frame and there's nothing found, and then you try to like draw it or something, the thing will crash. So I only come into this if statement if I saw a person and got a result. And then what do I want to do? Well, I want to do MP draw. That's my object, MP draw. And then what I want to do is I want to dot what? Draw draw underscore landmarks, all lowercase, draw landmarks. Where do I want to draw them? I want to draw them on frame, right? Frame RGB, that was just to do the analysis. Once you've done the analysis, you don't fool with frame RGB anymore. You want to draw on your original frame because that is what you are going to display. So you want to draw on frame, and what do you want to draw? Results dot pose landmarks, like that. Will that work? Let's see if that works. I think that should work. Let's do it and see what happens here. So far, so good. Okay, look at that. Boom. Shazam. Look at that. Okay, so what you can see is it's putting little dots on various parts. And if I were to stand up, it would show all the way down to my toes. But let's kind of look and take a look at what that data is here. And I can do that by showing you this picture. Shows you a person, and it looks like it has what? I see 30 different landmarks that it finds all the way from your nose, which is 0. And so the first data, like when I get these landmarks, the first landmark is going to be the nose, the next one the left eye, inner left eye, outer. So you kind of have inner left eye, outer left eye, and then 7 and 8 are the ears. And so if you look at this, let me see if I can get out of your way. Yeah, if I get out of your way, you can see all of these things. You can pause the video, do a screen capture, and then you can see what all these things are. Or you can just look at that little picture and you can see what those landmarks are. And so that is kind of cool. And so you can see that we're going to have a data set which has got the positions of all these kind of like joints in our body. Now, I will say that there is one thing that would be kind of nice, and we did something very similar to this on the hands. What we did was we connected the landmarks, and we can do that with mp.solutions.pose what? Okay, pose connections. Okay, pose underscore connections. Did I say dot? Well, wow, and that was beneath my head. So let me make sure you can see that. So what I did was I had frame, comma, results dot pose underscore landmarks. That's what I had before. And now I am adding comma mp dot solutions dot pose underscore connections, and now that should connect everything. Okay, so this then should do a pretty cool demonstration, but what I need is I need a volunteer. I need a volunteer. Do I have a volunteer?
I'm a volunteer.
Okay, come up here. Stand up here so they can see you. You got to stand up so they can see you. Okay, so tell me. Okay, get on your knees and you'll be about the right height. Get on your knees there. Okay, a little higher and a little closer over here. Okay, tell me what your name is.
Gavriella. Gavriella.
Gavriella, and what's your middle name?
Joy Apollote.
Gavriella Joy Apollote. And you're going to volunteer today, huh?
Yes.
What are you volunteering for?
Singing.
You're going to sing and what?
Dance.
Okay, you're going to sing and dance. So why don't you go over there, and then I'll run the program, and we'll see how the pose detection works, okay? And so, yeah, stay back over there by the wall. And as you're dancing, don't come this way, because if you come this way, then I won't be able to see you all the way. Okay, so let's see if we can run this now. All right, so let's run this. Okay, look at that. All right, do you have a song and a dance for us?
Yes.
Okay, let's go.
I'm going to run to the river, dive in the river, swim in the river, river of life. I'm going to run to the river, dive in the river, swim in the river, river of life. I'm going to say bye-bye, bye-bye. I'm going to the river. Jesus, you renew my heart, fill me up till I overflow. You give me a brand new start, wash me clean till I'm white as snow. Here I go, uh-oh, uh-oh. I'm going to run to the river, dive in the river, swim in the river, river of life. I'm going to run to the river, dive in the river, swim in the river, river of life. I'm going to say bye-bye, bye-bye. Say bye-bye, bye-bye. Say bye-bye, bye-bye. I'm going to the river.
Okay, very good. Come back up here. That was really good. That was something. Get on your knees so that they can see you up here. They got to be able to see you. Okay, that was a wonderful song. You got to come right over here by me. Okay, was that volunteer or do you think you should be paid?
Paid.
You want to be paid. How much do you think you should be paid?
3.
3 what?
3 coins.
3 coins. Okay, I have 3 coins here, so I'll give you 3 coins. Stay in the picture. Stay in the picture. Okay, goodbye. Goodbye, darling. Thank you. Okay, so I think that we've got a very nice demonstration there with the lovely Miss Opalot of singing and dancing using this. Okay, so what's the good news? It really very well finds the pose, and it very well displays the pose, and so that is really good. But what is not so good, what is not so good is that we really didn't do anything. We ran a canned method, or a canned method that goes in and analyzes the frame, and then it sends us results, and then we pass the results to a canned drawing program, and then it sort of does that. But if we wanted to do something like write our own program or do something that detected or was a game or something like that, then it's just not gonna, it's like we don't know enough to do that. So what we got to do is, like we did with the hands, we've got to come into this results object that we get back from Mediapipe, and we've got to bust into it where we can actually kind of get some, some data that we can work with. And so let's look at that and see what we can do. So the first thing that we're going to want to do here is we are going to want to comment out the draw thing, because it's a neat demonstration, but we got to kind of deal with this data on our own now. But still, we only want to do the analysis. We only want to do the analysis if we are if we have a result. So we still want to do that. And so I think we got to just kind of start taking this thing apart. And so the first thing that we could do is that if we have a results.pose landmarks, let's just print that. We know if we print results, we just kind of have a big object that we can't do anything with. But let's see if we could recognize anything if we said results.pose underscore landmarks like that. And let's just see if we print that and run it, and let's see what happens. Okay, that is kind of strange. Oh, I see. Let's take out, we were printing results, so let's take out that print, and now let's just print just the results.pose landmarks if it finds something. Okay, well, it found something, and it's printing out data and numbers, and so let's quit. And let's see what we've got here. It looks like that we have something called landmark, and then we have an open curly, and it's giving us an X, a Y, a Z, and a visibility and a close. Okay. Now, this is something that is different about the pose landmarks versus the hand landmarks. With the hand landmarks, it found all the hands. It found all the hands in the frame. And then when you analyze the data, you had to step through the hands. There might be one hand or there might be 7 hands, but what the results returned was an array, and that array included the landmarks of each hand, the landmarks of the first hand, then the landmarks of the second hand, and the landmarks of the third hand. And so the difference is the pose only finds one body and it analyzes that one body. So the data structure is flatter. It doesn't return you an array of arrays of landmarks. It just returns the array of landmarks for the first body that it finds, if that makes sense. So if you look at this here, there is no outer bracket. Okay, it is just sending you the landmarks. Right? It is just sending you the landmarks. And so what we could do then is, I think what we could try is we could just try to find the pose underscore landmarks dot landmark, and then that dot landmark should have 4 things: a dot X, a dot Y, and a dot Z. And so let's just kind of try that. Let's take this print out where it's printing all of those. And now let's see if we can step through the landmarks. Let's see if we can step through the landmarks. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to say for LM for like landmark in what? For landmark in what? Well, it would be results dot what? Results dot what? Pose landmarks. Okay, pose landmarks. That's that whole list of landmarks. And then what? I want to get the landmark. I want to get the landmark like that. And now this should give me the landmark singular one at a time. It should give me like the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It should give them to me one at a time. And let's just see if this works. So I'm going to say print. And then what do I want to print? I want to print the tuple lm dot what dot x comma lm dot y, and this should create a little xy tuple of where my nose is, the left of my eye, center of my eye, right of my eye, right? It should just create little tuples of all of those things. So let's just see if it does that. Okay. Look at that. I think it's working. So you see all these datas are coming through as just XY pairs. So I picked off those XY pairs from that long list of landmarks of all the landmarks of my body. Okay, so now I've got them. I've grabbed them. I can grab them as tuples. But what I really want to do then is I want to put them in a what? I want to put them in an array. And so I should probably up here before the if statement even, I should create an empty array called landmarks. And I could have called this anything, but I'm going to call it landmarks. And what I want is I want this to just be a set of XY tuples. The XY position of my nose, comma, the XY position of this, comma, the XY position of that, comma, the XY position of that. So it's going to be one array that has all the landmarks. Each landmark is going to be a tuple of an X and a Y. And I hope this kind of thing is starting to make sense to you at this point. So I think we should take that print out. And then what we're going to do is when we get that landmark, what are we going to do? Well, we are going to say landmarks, our array dot what? I want to append the what? I want to append the landmark, but not just the landmark. I want to append what? That tuple. So I open another parentheses, and then what is the X value? Well, it's lm dot X, and then what is the Y value? Lm dot Y. And so let's look at this. And so this basically, when I come out of the for loop, I would print it. So after I come out of the for loop, then I should have landmarks fully populated. All right, and I hope I took all the other prints out. So let's look and see what happens. Okay, yeah, that is working. It looks kind of like what we, oh, okay, now there it goes. All right, so look at this. So what you can see is I now have an array. You can see this is the end of the array. And let me see if I can come up here. There's a lot. There's like 30 different points. Okay, let's come down here. Let me see. It's kind of hard to find. All right, here is the open. Here is the open of the array. And so this is the first tuple. This would be the position of my nose, the position of my left eye, the center position of my eye. So this has all the data there that you need. All right, it has all the data there that you need. Now, what you can see is all these numbers are between 0 and 1. The numbers are all between 0 and 1. So an x of 0 is the left of your screen, an x of 1 is the right of your screen, a y of 0 is the top of your screen, a y of 1 is the bottom of your screen. So 0, 1, 0, 1. All right. The problem is OpenCV doesn't like this 0, 1 nonsense. It wants to know the pixel. Which pixel are you at? So we've got to convert this fraction of a frame to a pixel. Well, how do we do that? It's really very easy. Where are you in pixels? Well, it's lm.x, the fraction, times what? Times the width of your screen, which you set up here. Okay. And then it is lmy times what? Height, which you set up there. Now, what is it that OpenCV wants? It wants integers, and these might not be integers, so I better force this. I better force this an int on the lmx times width. Make sure you get your parentheses right, and then int open parentheses lmy times height, close parentheses. Now when I do this, what I should see are numbers that are kind of between 0 and 1280 when I do this. Okay, so let's see if this works. Okay, look at that. So now let's quit. All right, and you can see now that you have numbers that would be actually in, ooh, what is that, 2254? That makes no sense. Houston, we have a problem. Ah, okay. I'm glad I looked at that because we do have a problem. I think I did it the wrong way, did I? Those should not be 2254 on anything. So let's see. I have lmx times width and then lmy times height. Man, that sure looks right. How could I get those big numbers in there? Width is 1280, height is 720. When I do the resize, I resize to width and height. So my frame should be width and height right there. I resized it. Landmarks append int lm.x width and height. Do you guys see where my problem is? You know what I'm wondering is, I'm wondering if just in the last one, as the thing is coming off, if you get a spurious result. Because when I come up here, I think I'm still seeing strange things. 22, 39. Maybe it is estimating something off the screen, but let's go ahead and go with this and just see if it works, because it looks kind of right. And right off the top of my head, I'm not sure why I am getting bigger numbers. Okay, let's just go with this and see if we can make it work. And I'm thinking that, like, if my foot isn't showing, it's looking at my body and it's just guessing that my foot would be way down there somewhere. And so therefore it is guessing values that are off the screen for body parts it's not seeing. If you got a better idea, let me know. But let's get rid of this. Now what we need to do is let's see if we can now go in and kind of decorate some of these things. And so what I could do is I'm going to put a circle on here. I can start putting some circles on here. And if I'm going to do a circle, I like to go ahead and set the parameters up here. So I could say circle radius is equal to, let's say 10. And let's say circle color is equal to, let's make it 0, 0, 255. That should be red. And then what else did we need? Circle thickness. And let's just set that thickness is equal to, let's just make it pretty heavy, like a 4. And that'll be how thick the line of the circle is. So then what we're going to do is we're going to come here, and I'm not going to print the landmarks anymore, but after I've found all the landmarks, then I'm going to do a cv2.circle. And where do I want to put the circle? I want to put the circle on frame. And then where is the circle? Well, it is going to be my landmarks. Okay, my land uppercase. Okay, that's that array that I just created. Now, which one do I want? Okay, well, let's do an easy one. Let's just start with my nose. My nose would be what? My nose would be element 0 in the array. And so I can come back over here, and I can say that this would be element 0 should be my nose. All right. And then what do I want after that? It wants the radius. So I would say circle radius, which I just set up. Okay. And then it wants circle color, which I just set up. And then it wants circle thickness. Okay. Let me get that up. Circle thickness. Can you see that? Okay, that should put a circle where? Right on my nose, if I'm thinking about this right. Let's do this. Okay, look at that. Boom. Right on the nose. Okay, we got a circle on the nose and it tracks it. All right. So let's look at, let's also do like on the 2 eyes. And so let's see, what would the center of the eyes be? Okay. I'm going to put here a new one. I'm going to say eye color is equal to 255, 0, 0. So we'll have a blue eye. Okay. And then I'm going to say eye radius is equal to, let's make it like 3. Okay. And then let's say eye thickness is equal to -1, which should make it solid. Now I should be able to come down here, and I'm just going to copy this thing, Control C, and then I'm going to come here, Control V, and then now the landmark that I want, my left eye should be 2, and my right eye should be 5. So it should be 2 and 5 would be where I would put those. Okay, so I'm going to come back over here, and I am going to put this at element 2. And then here, instead of circle radius, I want eye radius. Instead of circle color, I want eye color. And instead of circle thickness, I want eye thickness. Okay. And now we're going to do this again for the other eye. And it's going to be element 5 from that picture, right? So now let's run this and see what it does. Let's see if I can point this over at me better. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can make it a little goofier. Let's make the eyes 10, radius 10. 10, like that. Now let's see what happens. Okay, it's not putting it right exactly in the middle of my eye, but it does look a little bit strange. Okay, it does look a little bit strange. All right, so what you can see is now, besides decorating your hand, which we did in the lessons week before last, we can now also decorate the whole body, and we can bust up that data and we can get the data back. All right. Now, what you can imagine is that we really want to do like we did before. We want to have a class, and that class does this data analysis for us, so that we're not down here trying to remember all of this stuff. We're not down here trying to remember all this stuff. What we just do is we create a class, a pose class, and what that pose class should do is it should generate my landmark data array. So then I just get back from the class that I create a very simple data structure, which is an array that has all the points of all the landmarks. Does that make sense? Okay, I hope it does. All right, guys, I really hope that you're having as much fun taking these lessons as I am making them. What I want you to do is when you have your solution working, I want you to post your solution on YouTube. Just do a screen record of your solution, record it on YouTube, in the description of your video, link back to this video so anybody watching knows what you're doing, and then also leave a comment down below that has a link over to your homework solution. And then this is kind of an easy one. It should be easy if you did the homework assignment 2 weeks ago, but we do need to get this put in place. I'll show you my solution on Thursday, or it'll be the next lesson for you guys that are not following along on this in real time, and I'll show you that. And then the week after that, we'll try to do something more interesting. We'll try to do something with this pose detection, write a program, make a game, something like that. Okay, guys, this is Paul McWhorter with TopTechBoy.com. I will talk to you guys later. And be sure and give me a thumbs up. You guys, be sure and give me a thumbs up. Talk to you guys later.